Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the 202 follow-up video that I'm doing to a video that I made about 3 days ago. We had dove in deep to some pretty cool concepts and through some historical information, and now I felt, a few days later I wanted to keep experimenting and take you guys along with me. So we're going to go through this. This is definitely the 202 course, and I've included in some more information that I thought was pertinent to make the point that we're trying to make. And of course, going into this, this is not financial advice, just personal opinions and education only. Okay. So going back on our discussion about money, and in the last video we talked about a dollar, and we were able to define a dollar, and that dollar has a certain weight to it according to constitutional standards, things like that. So this is characteristics and functions of money. So these are two different things. A characteristic is something that's inherent, durable, something that's portable, divisible, uniform, and fungible, acceptable by many people, and a store of value. The functions of money are they are units of account and stores of value. Or in the case of cryptocurrency, proof of work cryptocurrency, it could be work or energy. So this is a good reminder of that. And I'm going to go to this next slide, which is energy returned on invested. This is a very important metric that we look at when we're considering how much do we get out of something versus how much do we put into it. And the chart below here shows a very good example of the degradation of the energy returned on, say fossil fuel. So on the left-hand side of this graph, you can see when it's just, pumped out of the ground, and you can see how much energy is lost as it goes through each part of the refining process all the way to get to your tank. There's a great article that I've linked. This came out that came out a few years ago, and this link here below that'll talk about all about the EROI, how it is very important, and energy is a huge important piece of why markets move, and something that we can't forget going forward to this, and we will bring this back up later on. I think it's important to talk about the petrodollar, since we have been discussing the dollar and constitutional natures of the dollar. Petrodollars are basically paid to crude oil exporting countries. So all oil on the market as of today is still traded in what they call dollars or petrodollars, and these are typically, because the U.S. is one of the most widely used currencies, it's extremely liquid capital markets, and of course we know that it's backed by the United States military power, with the backing of the OPEC nations, things like that, Saudi Arabia. This is an interesting fact. So barrel of oil equivalence. How do you measure how much energy is in a barrel of oil? Well, there's approximately 5.8 million BTUs, British thermal units, or approximately 1,700 kilowatt hours in 42 gallons of oil. And as we know from the last video, there's approximately 19 gallons of gasoline. Measuring commodities based on the stock to flow model. There's a couple of things here. There's two commodities that we're going to talk about in this, specifically to the stock to flow model. It measures new supply relative to the existing supply, or how fast does something new come out of mining, or that replaces the existing supply. So the way they describe it, for example, if gold has a stock to flow ratio of 62, that basically means that the current mining rates that we have, it roughly will take about 62 years of production to create the current supply of all the gold in existence. So essentially a doubling. The current Bitcoin stock to flow model, and this can be found at stats.bybitcoinworldwide.com. This is the famous stock to flow model. It's currently at 56.3. Those people in the space understand that there will be another halving that occurs in 2024, and that new stock to flow should be approximately 120. So that's something to keep in mind too, also going forward. Bimetallism in the U.S. So in 1837, since we've been discussing constitutional dollars, right? So 1837 Congress established the relationship between silver and gold at the ratio of 16 to 1, meaning that 16 ounces of silver were to be equal in value to 1 ounce of gold. And there's a nice little proportion chart down there to show you what that means, relatively speaking, a 1 to 16 ratio, right? So 1 ounce of gold, 16 ounces of silver. Great. What is the relationship between gold, Bitcoin, and oil? Well, in this discussion, both of these are a store of value, and we're going to discuss how that is. Gold is a store of value because of the mining, refining, transporting, the logistics of it. Bitcoin is a store of value because of the mining, hash rates, computational power, and algorithms. Both of these are stores of value because they require work to be put in, and it only comes out back to us at a certain rate. So it is a relatively scarce supply, and both of these things share the characteristics of all of the other forms of money. They're a unit of account and a store of value. Okay, and now we're discussing oil. Oil is the lifeblood of the economy because oil is energy, essentially. That's how we're relating it to it in this type of a discussion here. So we're going to be doing a bunch more experiments, and for these experiments we have some certain market variables that are set up for today, so the 28th. And up here you'll see 4 asset classes that are currently priced in their current Federal Reserve note prices. Okay, so we're going to use these as we go through all of these experiments. Here's our reference points. So here's what we know now, and what you should know by now, and especially from the last video that we did, 1 troy ounce equals 31.103468 grams. 1 troy ounce of silver equals roughly 1.29 constitutional dollars. We know that 1.29293 times 16, which is the constitutional ratio, will give us $20.68, which is the current, or which should be the constitutional gold value. Okay, so if we know that by the Constitution there should be a 1 to 16 ratio, and we know that the current ratio as far as the market is concerned, we're at an 86.25 ratio, which is approximately 439% off of what it should be according to the Constitution. Great, okay. Glad we've established that. So now we actually have US dollar values in the Constitution for 1 troy gold ounce. Now, what I noticed when I was doing these calculations, $20 is still what the Federal Reserve and the United States government value the gold reserves of the US at, is $20. And this is exactly proving that point as to why that would be. And of course, down at the bottom, now that we have a new asset class that we brought in here, we knew that the devaluation on silver was 1,535%. I was actually shocked to find out that the current gold price, it actually is much more. It's about 8,714.19%. And those are all just based off of the constitutional weight and the constitutional amount based on the definition of a dollar via the Constitution versus what we have now, the Federal Reserve market prices. Okay, moving on. So this is where we're going to get into some of these really detailed examples. So in this first example, we are measuring constitutional gold versus oil. So what we have here is we have some prerequisites. We have our Federal Reserve price of oil, Federal Reserve note price of gold, and we have a quick ratio to figure out that 111.28 divided by 1,823 gets us a ratio of that 0.6 number. Okay, great. So step 2. Now we're going to take that formula, that ratio that we just got, and we're going to multiply that by the constitutional value of the US dollar, which is $20.68 and some change. And we come up with a $1.26 cost per barrel. And of course, we know every barrel is 19 gallons of gasoline. So in this example, we come up with the constitutional value of oil with purchasing it with gold should be approximately 7 cents per gallon, or at least this is what the non-inflated numbers would show if we were back on that constitutional system. Awesome. Okay, next example. This is the constitutional silver versus oil. This is essentially what the first video is about. We're just going to break it down so you guys can see exactly how we came to the conclusions that we did. Again, we have the current market prices, that 111 divided by 21.14 gets us that 5.26. It's changed a little bit. It's been a few days that have passed, so the markets have slightly changed. We go ahead and do it again, put it in that equation. Our ratio, 5.26 times the constitutional value of the silver, the dollar, 1.29, gets us $6.80 per barrel divided by 19 gallons. It gets us that 36 cents per gallon. Okay, pretty cool. All right, here's where we're going to start getting into some crypto talk, some Bitcoin. So this is where I got a little bit curious, and I wanted to kind of try something. Now, we have to get a little creative when we do this because we are not directly measuring actual money. As we know, Bitcoin is a commodity, but it is not, money per se. It's not a precious metals. We know that the Constitution does state that the money has to have a form weight of silver in it. So for all of these examples, these are all based off of that constitutional definition of $1, and everything is extrapolated from there. All right, so this is the process that we did here. What we did is we took the current Bitcoin price. I took $21,027, and what I did was we adjusted that in terms of the gold devaluation. So that 8,714% number, we know that if we're measuring this against gold, the fair market value of Bitcoin against gold, what we're going to do is we're going to take 8,714% away from the current inflated Federal Reserve note price. And what is that going to leave us with? That number is $214.30. That's right. So I'll say that again. So the current market value, the inflated Federal Reserve note market value of Bitcoin is $21,027. If this was on a constitutional dollar system, its constitutional adjusted value would be $241.30. Okay? And what we're going to do in this next step here is we're going to take that same ratio where we're taking the ratio of our newly discovered constitutional value of Bitcoin, and we're going to take that against our gold value of the barrel of oil, our constitutional value of the oil, and we're going to put these in that ratio, and we're going to multiply it by the constitutional value of Bitcoin, and we're going to come out to $1.26 a barrel. And we're going to divide that again by 19, and we're going to come up with a number, and that number is 7 cents per gallon. So in these formulas, these all self-check each other, because the reason that we are coming up with the same amount is because we're all relating it back to gold and silver in constitutional terms. The variables are what these other numbers are in Federal Reserve terms, and the variables are what kind of ratios we'll get. But the constants are always related back to the definition of a dollar being 371.25 grains of silver, or 24 grams and some change, right? So this next example is going to be the fair market value of Bitcoin in silver terms versus oil. Same exact thing up here at the top, taking the Bitcoin price 21,027. And basically, on this example, we're going to take and subjugate the current market value of Bitcoin to the amount of purchasing power loss with the silver, which is 1,535. So we take 21,027, divide that by 1,535%, and we have a constitutionally adjusted value of Bitcoin at 1,269.82 and some change on a silver basis. Okay. Now that we have that example, we have our constitutional value of oil in silver terms at $6.80, and we're going to take that against our new constitutionally discovered value of Bitcoin in silver, expressed as silver, and we're going to get those together, and it's also going to equal $6.80 a barrel down at the bottom. And then we will divide that by 19 again, and we again come up with 36 cents per gallon. Okay. So here are all of the numbers that we have just kind of laid out, and these are all going to be expressed in constitutional terms. So the numbers you're going to see here are the numbers that we came up with, and I'm going to explain how we came up with them. Well, basically this entire video has been how we came up with them. We are always relating it back to the unit of a dollar. And at the very top here, every one of these calculations, even the valuation of gold that we did to come up with the rest of these are all based off of the fact that the Constitution says that the dollar is 371.25 grains of silver. And that's what this is. So this is the building block. We see here that the constitutional value of a troy ounce of silver should be $1.29. We know that an actual dollar is like 0.77 of a troy ounce percent. We know that a troy ounce of gold, constitutionally speaking, should be $20.68, and has seen roughly an 8,700% decline to current market prices with the Federal Reserve notes. Bitcoin expressed in gold should be $241. Bitcoin expressed in silver should be $1,269. 1 barrel of oil expressed in gold should be $1.26. $1 barrel of oil expressed in silver should be $6.80. And both of these ones at the bottom here, this is constitutional Bitcoin versus constitutional oil. You actually get a cost per barrel of oil of $1.12, which is the lowest yet, and that's a 9,800% decrease. Okay, now for you crypto and other followers of the channel here, if you've made it this far, you also know that I have a lot of Algorand videos. So surprise, I do have a bonus for you guys. I actually did a crypto video here for Algorand, and I put this through the same exact formulas that we did before. Current market price on Algorand was 33 cents, and basically what I did was measured against silver, you know, the dollar. So we took 1,533% away from that, leaving us with an Algorand price, constitutionally adjusted, of 2 cents. And that's 1,435% off of today's market value. When we take that same thing, constitutional oil versus constitutional algo, we wind up with $6.80 a barrel. Divide that by the constitutional algo price of 2 cents, and you get this ratio of 316.5889366. And basically at that point you just multiply that by the price of algo, and we get that same 36 cents per gallon. Alright guys, this video is getting a little long, but thank you again so much. I hope this was exciting for you guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much.